are go for liftoff in T-minus 30.
Hit the record button.
Gosh, that's swell.
It's a Lowe's Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? This is Italo from Italo's Blog Talk Radio. And here's another episode. I don't know, I don't have a scheduled time, but this time is a important person to have on the line. Marcus Ma'at Atkins is on the line, and he's basically, I met him at the Hollywood Fringe Festival in 2018. He was doing a production here in Hollywood called Not Honey. But he's also now going to be doing another show. And as you know, everybody knows now, it's all gone on virtual world now. So it's going to be an interesting show. It's called Way Lovve. And can you tell us a little bit more about it? Because you told me about it's a kind of a Shakespeare version with a loosely based real life painter, Basquiat. But you could tell me better because I was reading the synopsis here. It sounds interesting, and so is the trailer. But if you can give me more of an idea, what is this show about?
Sure. Well, first off, I would just like to say thank you so much for allowing me this platform to talk about my project and other things that you would like to converse with me about. The project is, I would say, a labor of love for almost 20 years in the making, I would say.
Wow.
Started off more just two colleagues working at a St. Louis newspaper, coming up with an idea to come up with something to push the envelope, so to speak. You know, being I guess back in those times, more just being trailblazers in our own fields. And 20 years later, decided to do this project. Actually, I was going to do it in Atlanta around this time. But, of course, with the pandemic and everything changed. But I had this vision of, well, I still want to do this, but I just didn't know what avenue to do this. And I first just wanted to do a table read of it through Facebook Live or something like that, just to keep the idea alive and well. But then I had the idea of doing it virtually. The team that I have, one of them said that they couldn't see that happening. But I reiterated to them, well, most of our rehearsals, even 2 years ago when I was doing Snap Honey, I did the rehearsals virtually on Facebook Live because I had cast from, majority was in Los Angeles, but even prior to doing Snap Honey 2 years ago, I've had casts where I did rehearsals virtually with a cast that was from the East Coast, West Coast, and social media was the only way of getting everyone together at the same time, so to speak, in different time zones. So flash forward to this year with Way Lovve. It's more a mixture of Shakespeare in a bubble, so to speak. There's with theater, you can create your own own world, your own atmosphere. But the premise of it is more of a painter who's in that crossroads of who does he actually love? The relationships that he has, or the love of his art. And as the pretty much with the trailer is more of he chooses his fate. What is his fate? Which is more Shakespearean. A lot of Shakespeare's work dealt with a character's fate, or the conflict of himself, conflict of society, conflict of someone who's against a person versus another person, the supernatural, all these elements that we learned when we were in high school of Shakespeare and all of the different tropes that define Shakespeare. So I added the Shakespearean touch to it, whereas the lead character speaks Shakespearean. He just speaks it as though it's his own language, as though it's something normal. So when the audience sees this show, they'll for the most part they'll probably go, well, why is this person speaking in these riddles and these flowery kind of metaphors and similes and personifications? Yeah, but that's more just one of the conventions, of course, with theater, of believing what you see and hear. So the character name is William Lovespear Kenwood. And, of course, Shakespeare's first name was William. So that's kind of a tie-in. Lovespear, that's, of course, a play on Shakespeare. That's his tag name that his mentor, an Andy Warhol kind of character, who molds him and makes him become this famous painter, Lovespear. The whole aspect of using Basquiat as an influence with this play is more loosely based on his muse, him it's kind of more like, it's not necessarily an autobiographical piece on him. It's more of just when a work is inspired by. So it's more of that. It's inspired by Basquiat, but it does have elements of his life as far as like having a mentor such as Andy Warhol, who was Basquiat's mentor when he was in the early 80s. And I don't know if many people know, and I'm pretty sure of people who follow art, black art, Basquiat used to date Madonna before she was Madonna.
Right.
And
I remember that.
And she was very influential in his, making him become the painter that he was and is. So there's a character loosely based on Madonna's character in the play. And then there's this particular character that I have, which is part of his relationships, an Andy Warhol type of character, a Madonna type of character, and then just a sketch of a older woman who he falls in love with while being in her class, art class in college. So that's fictionalized, because that didn't really happen with Basquiat. He was never married. But that particular aspect of the play is more of showing the Shakespearean aspect of it, of an older woman and a younger man, and showing the whole incestuous relationship that Shakespeare wrote a lot in a lot of his work, as far as the Oedipus complex,
right,
Electra
so the
complex.
mother figure.
Yeah, right. The mother figure, which is that could also be the lover as well. And there's a line in the play where that character, the female character, says, the marriage I had with you is, I felt as though that you were more my child than anything else, than my actual husband. So yeah, so there's a lot of that in it. There's a lot of using of a knife, as you saw in the trailer, the knife, which is very Shakespearean, because that was the tool that Shakespeare used in a lot of his plays when it came to death. Using of a knife, and suicide, homicide, the symbolism of the knife. So, like I said, so there's a lot of those elements in the play. I called it Three-Way Love because, just to give it a interesting title, love is spelled Lovve, which is a shortened version of the main character's stage name, Lovespear. So that's in a nutshell of the description, kind of giving a history of the play. I wrote it with a colleague, like I said, about 15, 20 years ago. Decided throughout the years, we just said, we'll get to it. And of course, when you drift apart, with life and career and whatever, things get forgotten. You're not the same person that you were 5, 10 years ago, with the same desires, the same inspirations, aspirations. So I decided this year that it was just time for it to be seen. But when COVID hit, my question was, well, what do I do next with this? So, like I said, I decided to do this virtually through Zoom, and then televise it. We'll broadcast it through YouTube, where we'll have the camera boxes and everything like that. But the challenge was more of how to do this production where people can see it and go, wow, I saw something virtually in these boxes, but I felt as though I was actually in the theater watching this. Okay? With theaters, the whole thing was suspending the disbelief. So with this virtual aspect of the play, that's the same process, the same type of application that I wanted to do through Zoom, suspending everyone's disbelief that they're actually watching something live through Zoom, but then forgetting that they're actually watching it through Zoom and dealing with the story of this character, Lovespear, and making it as interesting as possible without it being just talking heads. Because I'm sure a lot of people who've seen productions virtually or just in general is just a lot of people just looking in the camera and talking. But with ours, it's more as though they're actually are staged. They're blocked as though they're on the theater stage. Of course, there's a lot of the talking heads, but it's more for dramatic effect. We also have a soundtrack, a great soundtrack that go along with the scenes, the transitions of the scenes. We also have we use Google Slides to put in between the scenes to enhance the story, because, as you know, people have to be visually stimulated when they see something on their laptop, if it's not a movie or something like that, if they see on Netflix or something like that. But basically it's more just aesthetics to keep the story going, keep it interesting, and and to keep their attention while the story is being told.
Okay. Wow, there's a lot of work that goes into this production. It turns out, because as you know, with the theater productions, it's a lot of work as well. A lot of the tape rehearsals and dress rehearsals and the rehearsing at the same time, and then having this whole dynamic where it's virtually and it's you're not in the same room as the other person. Has that presented any challenges for the actors? I mean, I'm sure they were there. Oh my God, I'm sure that's
an understatement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Dealing with people's schedules, and with this cast, there's a few that's in LA. Then I have some in Atlanta. Then I have a female actor who travels from Atlanta to Florida. So, yeah, and getting everyone's schedule. And I'm Central Standard Time because I'm in St. Louis. So you can just imagine trying to blend everyone's schedule at the same time. And, of course, you have the elements of people at their houses, having to find a space, a quiet space to even rehearse. So that's been challenging. But it's been good. I'm working with people who understands, who gets it, as far as being in theater and the discipline when it comes to theater. It's just more of just now everything is done virtually, and the challenges of people who are used to standing on a physical stage and adjusting to that and making it more with the four corners of their camera box to do what they are comfortable doing if they were on stage, actually doing it with a live person in front of them.
Right. I mean, in many ways, it's like the actors that play against the green screen. They have a tennis ball they have to talk to. And that can become a dinosaur. It can become a monster. It can become a fairy, whatever. So I think it's in a way, an actor is an actor. They're going to have to pretend that they're in the same room, and that's what they do. So, and I'm loving that you have Kat, because Kat Balsan, she's hilarious. Well, I don't know if this will be a funny take on the character, but she's phenomenal. I don't know who are the other actors besides Kat Balsan, who I saw at the French.
Yeah.
And she was doing the show Balsan.
Yeah. Like I said, most of the cast, like I said, I have, so I guess as far as the Los Angeles area, I have Micah Bijan, who's, I believe that's because I have two different casts with two different trailers, so I don't remember which one I sent you, but one of the cast leads is in the Los Angeles area. His name is Micah Bijan. And what's interesting with him is he actually paints. He's actually a painter. So it fit like a glove for him to do this role. Because that was the first question I asked. I asked, do you know anything about Basquiat? He was like, he immediately said yes. So I knew I chose the right person to cast. I also have Wesley Hubbard, who's in the Los Angeles area. He also works for Lionsgate. I've worked with him since about 2 years now. He was in Snap Hunting when I staged Snap Hunting last year in Atlanta, but he also came to see Snap Hunting when I staged it at the Complex. Was it Complex? No, Studio Stage.
No,
at Studio Stage.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I think that was in 2017. 2017. Well, this was before Hollywood Friends.
I see.
I started doing plays in Los Angeles in 2016 with Snap Hunting at the Complex, and then in 2017 I moved it to Studio Stage. And Wesley, I don't know how we became Facebook friends, but he had interest of seeing it, and he was an audience member. We kept in touch, and I asked him, was he interested in doing this as an actor, and kind of found out he was an actor. So Wesley Hubbard, he's part of the cast who's in the Los Angeles area. I'm trying to think of anyone else who's from that area. I do have a comedian who's in. He traveled. I think he was in Los Angeles for a while, but he's now in Atlanta. But his name is Christopher Show. He's done more stage comedy, stand-up comedy in the Los Angeles area. So he's kind of a Los Angelian in a way. So like I said, I do have people who Cat Balson, who
that's what I was talking about.
Cat Balson. I guess just dawned on me, was like, that's right, Cat Balson, who did a play, one person play 2 years ago at Hollywood Fringe Festival called Balls On. And interestingly enough, I know, right? And interestingly enough, I was looking for this Madonna character because we had one actress to be part of it, but she had to drop out. She wasn't really comfortable with the role. Then I had another one who I had cast, but she had a family death. So it was kind of like, oh boy, what am I going to do? I need to, we was like 5 weeks in of trying, of getting, everyone was cast except for this Robin character. And something told me, contact Cat Balson, because she was very, and you know how Cat is. She's very energetic, very supportive of everyone's project, and that cheerleader that you needed. And I inboxed her and I asked, hey, are you doing anything? And she's like, well, no, not really, because she kind of, I guess she kind of retired, so to speak, with acting. I think the story that she told me and my team was she got kind of jaded with the Hollywood scene as far as like trying to make it as an actor, and decided to just to lay low and build a cabin in Bear Lake and teach and teach skiing for people, teaching people how to ski. And I was like, so are you interested? And she was like, yeah. And thank God, because I believe she's one of the standouts of this role. If there were awards for supporting actress, she would definitely. Every time I rehearse with her, I just tell her that she's phenomenal. phenomenal. I
Cool,
mean, she takes
cool.
it to such levels where you just get chills of her interpretation of the role that she's given. So yeah, so those three are the people who are in the LA area who's going to be part of Way Lovve.
Great. So these, just to let you know, just to let the audience or whoever's listening know, it will be basically on. It's going to be a Zoom invite, correct? But it's going to be also broadcasted on YouTube live on
Correct.
July 23rd to the 26th. So it's going to be basically 4 days, or
Let's see, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yep, 4 days. Yep, 4 days.
Okay.
One show, the show on Thursday, the 23rd, that's more of a preview show. That's more for people who are in the industry, the media people. That's the one that's more of just getting the buzz out to the people who are in the industry to write about it, people who's part of Hollywood Fringe, people like that, more of colleague kind of day to see it.
Okay.
And then 2 shows that Friday, 2 shows that Saturday, and 1 show on Sunday. That Sunday on the 26th.
Oh. Okay, so it will be July 23rd, July 24th, and 26th.
25th, and 26th. Yeah. Yeah, 23rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Oh, so all 4 days. Okay.
Yeah, 4 days.
And then for whoever's interested, they basically have to send you an email. I'll put all the information below so that we'll do this later. But I just wanted to let people know whoever's listening. And I'm going to put the preview at the end of the show so they can see. Yeah, I know we're talking about it, and I'm seeing the preview here, but it's better if you guys see it at the end. But it's going to be for mature audiences.
Yes, no children allowed.
No children allowed.
No children allowed. I mean, if they're 16, 17, people who, I would say with Shakespeare, Shakespeare was for mature audiences. When you read Shakespeare, talking about incest and adultery,
right.
that's adult content. So I would say they can be in high school. I would say high schoolish, 15, 16, 17 is okay, but we prefer, over 18.
Right. So I'll put in all the information below. So if you're listening to this on YouTube, look below, and it will be up with your email, your number information, so they can go ahead and place their order online. And I'm actually.
And let me know. What day you want to see this. Cause I want you to check this out. So let me know when you want to see it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm curious. Cause, now that I'm listening to about this story, I'm not a big Shakespeare fan, but I am a Basquiat fan. So maybe from a Basquiat point of view, I'll see.
Okay.
But I said the same thing about another show that was based on Shakespeare, but it was Romeo and Juliet in Hell. It was directed by Matt Ritchie, who is my director, and it was such a riot. Anything goes, right? So I'm glad that you're bringing it back, and that you're still getting busy during COVID. I was so disappointed this year, but I'm glad they're doing something about it. We're still gonna make it happen. It was not for me because I was given the same scenario. We want to do the show that I was going to do this year online, and I'm like, no, you know what? It's been very. For me, it's a different thing. It's a different feeling having a live audience as opposed to have to do this online.
Most definitely.
But I'm glad that you guys are doing it, and I'll support it and watch it, of course. Yeah, I want to see
it. Yeah.
So
I
what
think
else is going on in? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just about to add to that's a lot of the sentiment that a lot of artists, not just with playwrights, but just artists in general, what they should do during this COVID because they're so used to, their bread and butter is, live audiences, actually physically going to see them perform. But I think with this COVID, I think it's going to force artists to create what is missing. The whole with the live audiences. For some reason, I'm seeing it a lot that there's the live audience is there, but then there's the actual performance that they're seeing is maybe on a screen or a large theater, like a drive-in theater screen or things like that. It's just really just going to test us to create. That's the main thing, is more just creating, and the feedback, it may not be the way that we're used to, but I think when you get feedback where people send emails and inboxes and text messages saying, that was great, or I saw it, or keep up the good work, me personally, I think that's even is even more personable, as far as getting that type of feedback. But yeah, so I definitely can relate to you when you say, as far as like debating whether to do something, because the outcome, you really want to feel the audience, smell the audience, the accolade of your work, But I think
it's just it's not an instant gratification, but it's just a different. For me, at least, it's a different feeling being in the live theater, and of course, now that we're doing the virtual things and everything, you can probably reach more people. So there's pros and cons to it. I just haven't had time to wrap my head around that thought, because at first it was going to be in October, and then of course that got delayed, and now we don't even know if it's going to happen at all. So it's just having to change, and maybe that's myself fighting. all artists are right now they're fighting against all the the things that are happening to us, and it's just confusing, but it's change could be good, and maybe this is the way to go from now on until things are back to normal, which will never, you know how they say the new normal, but yeah,
I think the main thing is more of how to make money from all this. That's another aspect, of artists who depend on their art to survive economically. How does all this? How to make sense of all of it, of all of this, So yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's challenging times, but again, let's keep the hope alive. Let's keep rolling, and let's keep creating. Yeah. And you're doing a lot of things on the side. I know that you're not just doing this, so you're doing a lot of other things in St. Louis area. I understand you're also doing the Mr. Couture style contest, and you have a lot of things going on in your neck of the woods there. I try to put my hand in a lot of aspects of entertainment. As you said, Mr. Couture, that
I've been doing for the past 10, 11 years, where it's more of a men's fashion show contest kind of thing of, who has the best style. That was more just to help with, as you with the whole trying to create different images, a certain type of image that people don't see a lot when it comes to men of color. A lot of times when you think of men of color, especially African American, the first thing that a lot of people envision is, well, does he play basketball? Does he rap? Is he a gangster? Is he hiding a gun? Just that kind of, those particular images. But with Mr. Couture, my goal with that was showing men of color who are gentlemen, who are professional, who, to break that stereotype that people see a lot on the news and in music, entertainment, of showing a positive images of men of color. So, I've done that for the past 10, 11 years. The last one, actually, the last one I did was virtually. My contestants were virtual from their own hometowns, and I believe, the judges I had were, So it's kind of like, oh wow, so this is coming full circle for me, because I was doing something that, inevitably, everyone else has to do now. So that was like two years ago, in late 2018, that I decided to. But that was because I didn't have too much of a budget, but I decided to just have the contestants do their categories with their camera, using I forgot what program I used. I don't think it was Zoom, but I think it was Facebook, I believe. Facebook Live or something like that, however way I did it. But
so all of a sudden Zoom just came in the picture. I hadn't never heard of Zoom before. Of course, Skype just went somewhere. Everybody's doing Zoom nowadays. But it probably was probably Facebook or Skype or something else.
I knew of Zoom. Let me see. 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago? Yeah, when I was part of I believe it was Greg Crafts from Studio Stage. Him and his wife had discussion on Fringe something, and it was a few of us who was from out of town who was on Zoom, and they had us. We saw them on a camera on the laptop, and it was, as Zoom is, you can see who's doing the panel, during the panel, and had us on Zoom. So that was the first and only time that I knew anything about Zoom until this year, where I had to actually get a crash course in how to do Zoom, because it's very challenging, because you have to share a screen share to put in graphics or music, and you can live stream to YouTube. There's all these functions that you got to deal with, and now just realize that with YouTube, it's a mirror effect. The camera boxes in Zoom is one way, but when you see it on YouTube, the boxes are inverted. So now I have to go and make sure that everyone who cameras on, that whatever way they were doing in the past, they have to reverse that. So
you understand this is going to be live. This is going to be live, right? Like it's going to be every
Yep.
Every
Yep.
I'm talking about Way Lovve.
Yeah.
So it's going to be different performances. All right.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal, to do it live. But I just in case of, if anything happens, Wi-Fi, which is another challenge too with using Zoom or whatever. Wi-Fi issues. Right. If it's going to freeze up, if someone has to drop out, or because of that. But I also have the alternative of using a broadcast, a taped broadcast. Just in case if we have issues like that, I can just stream one of the dress rehearsals. That. Right. As a safety, it's just for safety. Like I said, we depend. I call it wifey. You can't depend on wifey every now and then. Wifey, you got to treat her nice, because wifey might not want to deal with you. So you got to be nice to wifey. Exactly.
You never know what the wife
wants to do. Exactly. So that's an even more challenge. You might have everything together, but the Wi-Fi might run slow. Wi-Fi, someone might freeze during the scene. There's a lot of that. Which is part of theater as well. Not necessarily with Wi-Fi, but making sure.
I think it's part of the fun.
The lighting might go out, or a prop might fall, so it's still the same type of on a tightrope on the edge kind of stuff, but it's more of just adapting to it and stage managing it as much as possible, whereas, the audience will understand, because they get it, because, oh, okay, well, it's a Wi-Fi issue. We get it.
Yeah. I think most people nowadays they're used to the Zoom meetings going awkward. Anyways, Marcus, we actually are looking into close to the finishing the show. Believe it or not, it's already been 40 minutes. So I do want to thank you once again for calling us today. Way Lovve.
My pleasure.
I've heard. Will be on July, again, 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th on YouTube. If you want to email Marcus, it's going to be snaphoney2011@gmail.com. Is that right?
That's correct. Yep, 2011. Okay. And this is a story of 2011. That's when I first started Snap Honey, in 2011.
Oh. All right. Yeah. Coming full circle. Great. Anything else you want to tell the audience before we leave? We have a couple minutes.
Basically, hopefully everyone gets a ticket. Tickets are $5. I've kept it at $5 because I know you can use your $5 to use it for anything else. But hopefully you can use it to see our production. We've been working hard since early May. The show looks great as far as keeping the interest of everyone, and hopefully everyone will comment on YouTube when it's over saying it was a great show, and hopefully you want to see it again and again and again.
Awesome. Because, you have a great night. Thank you for staying up this late. I know that this is past your bedtime, but once again, thank you guys for listening.
It's the weekend. It's the weekend, so I don't have a curfew. So.
All right, Marcus, you have a great night and great weekend. And for those that are listening, as you always know, we didn't see this coming, guys.
William, sweetheart, do you love me? Who will it be?
Keep on, baby. Do you take me? Or will it be?
Mr. Love Spear, do you care to be seduced forever and a second by me? Who will it be?